community members. I'm your mayor, Dr. Rod Das Magwal, and I'll be delivering the State of the City address tonight to highlight how far we've come in emerging from the pandemic, our community's many accomplishments over the past year, and the new programs and developments we can look forward to in 2022. As we end Women's History Month, I will also pay homage to women of color leaders, activists, and scholars in this State of the City address that have encouraged, motivated, and inspired communities in times of crisis towards healing and progress. This, this is our opportunity to celebrate what we have accomplished in Daly City and to continue our efforts of community and growth for this upcoming year. While I have the honor of speaking tonight, I also want to acknowledge my fellow council members who have worked tirelessly for a better future in Daly City. In attendance tonight are Vice Mayor Ray Buenaventura, Councilmember Justin Manalo, Councilmember Glenn Sylvester, and Councilmember Pamela Di Giovanni. Thank you for all your leadership over the past year. 2021 presented us with very difficult challenges, but we worked together through it all. I am confident that we will struggle and persevere together as we collaborate in 2022. I also want to provide a special thank you to our former mayor, Justin Manalo, who served in this role last year. Jocelyn, thank you for being the strong leader we needed during a very difficult year for our community. I am proud to serve on City Council with you. I also want to thank our dedicated workforce of almost 500 city employees. You are the behind the scenes, the unsung heroes, the heartbeat of the city. I wanted to personally thank every one of you because it takes a vast amount of time, effort, and dedication to run a city. Cities are dealing with an unprecedented demand for new services and facing strain on revenues while we are living through an ever-changing and unpredictable world. So please take a moment to reflect on our role of public servants in guiding our community to the future. And please appreciate their work. Whether it is responding to a water emergency or maintaining our roads and sidewalks or ensuring the new developments are built to the highest safety standards, city staff are often behind the scenes ensuring that we can live, work, visit, and fully enjoy our city without thinking twice about how all the pieces fit together. I am amazed by our strong team of city staff. You make me proud to represent Daly City. But before I begin with the city updates, I want to say to our city stands in solidarity with Ukraine and is strongly opposed to the unprovoked and senseless war that Russia started. To quote renowned poet Maya Angelou, she expressed, "Hate, it has caused a lot of problems in this world, but it has not solved one yet." More than 3 million people have been displaced and thousands of lives have been lost. This invasion has disrupted peace in Europe and unsettled the world. I want everybody to know that we support the Ukrainian people and admire their bravery in facing such aggression. My colleagues and I have discussed this topic openly at City Council meetings, and we will continue to show our support for Ukraine moving forward. Now we were talking about responding to the pandemic. The late feminist and activist Bell Hooks shared, "To be truly visionary, we have to root our imagination in our concrete reality while simultaneously imagining possibilities beyond that reality." We are turning the corner on the COVID-19 pandemic, but we must stay safe and diligent in taking the necessary steps towards a healthy Daly City. Earlier this month was the 2-year anniversary of the first shelter-in-place order, and I am amazed how resilient our community has been during this period of struggle. I want to reiterate and celebrate our resilience because it's not something we talk about enough. So let's review how we've come to this point where we can remove our masks and gather again in person. We got to do this point by working together. Vaccination rates. So despite the challenges, Daly City has achieved remarkable success in vaccination. Over 88% of our community is vaccinated. That is 10% points higher than the national vaccination rate. It's a real testament to the work of so many community partners who work closely with county health to offer vaccination clinics, often right here in Daly City. North County Fire Authority has been instrumental in our pandemic response and even provided trained fire paramedics and emergency medical technicians to conduct mass vaccinations. Thank you to our community for getting vaccinated. It's the main reason we can safely reopen. I also want to give a special thank you to our Human Resources Department, which has overseen a complicated and ever-changing health policy landscape to keep our employees safe and guarantee continuity of government operations. We remained operational throughout the pandemic because of our workplace readiness safety plan and COVID-19 prevention program, including the distribution of tests and KN95 masks to all employees. Our city staff has been a lifeline for residents who have faced food insecurity by providing multiple emergency food distributions in partnership with Second Harvest Food Bank, and even nutritious cooked meals for older adults served by our longstanding Congregate National Nutrition Program. And through the new second course program, the Recreation Division is providing almost 20,000 home-delivered meals to older adults. I'm excited that our staff and partners will continue the support as we come out of the pandemic. This month, we opened a new food pantry at the Dolger Senior Center, and the city is working closely with our Community Service Center to install a permanent food distribution facility next to City Hall. One of the biggest pieces of legislation in our recent history was the American Rescue Plan Act. Last year, City Council allocated almost $4 million to a robust package of programs to directly address community needs such as free legal support for eviction protection, a direct economic relief program for immigrant families who were left out of other assistance programs, the building of a new childcare facility to serve lower income families, and grants for struggling restaurants and small businesses. But that's not all. As we moved many programs online, it became even more apparent that we needed to address the digital divide because not everyone in our community could easily get online. I'm excited to announce that Daly City will be one of the first cities to install a free public Wi-Fi network to serve an entire neighborhood, the Bayshore. We are combining this project with new technology lending programs through the Daly City Public Library and expansion of Wi-Fi at our community centers. Technology and the internet will forever play in connecting us to each other, and we will honor that through program design moving forward. There is another part of our pandemic that often goes overlooked, and it is our mental health. This pandemic has intensified issues of mental health, and I have been open about my issues navigating stress and anxiety, and I do this to encourage others to seek help and to let them know that they're not alone. My mentors and colleagues, Dr. Alison Tintian-Cubales, Dr. Jeff Duncan Andrade, and Glenn Makatangay, expressed wellness is when people and communities have a strong sense of purpose, agency, empathy, hope, love, and joy. After 2 years of stress and fear, now we must focus on healing. I've partnered with fellow San Mateo County mayors to work on the SMC Mayor's Mental Health Initiative to host a mental health first aid training so that we can learn the skills to identify, understand, and respond to signs of mental health or substance abuse conditions in others. We need to learn how to help each other after so many traumatic events over the past 2 years. This year, I'm excited to announce that the Filipino Mental Health Initiative at San Mateo County will be opening the Kapwa Cultural Center and Cafe, a social enterprise focused on holistic and culturally responsive behavioral health services to Filipino-X American youth. With our community partners, we will help make Daly City healthy, secure, and safer for everyone. Now we want to talk about encouraging economic growth and recovery. And we want to talk about minimum wage update. So our healing in the context of the pandemic also means focusing on our economy. I'm happy to report that the local minimum wage in our city is now $15.53 per hour. Every year, the minimum wage will increase with the Consumer Price Index, ensuring wage growth for many of the workers that kept our grocery stores, pharmacies, and other essential businesses open during the pandemic. We are also creating new opportunities with the Micro Enterprise Home Kitchens program. Home-based chefs can now operate facilities from their home kitchens. I fully support this effort because it creates a legal pathway for home chefs to meet the strong need for food in our community. Also, last year, we also partnered with 10 other counties in the oh, well, we also partnered with 10 other areas in the county with the launch of the Choose Local San Mateo County app, with nearly 350 businesses participating. The app includes up to 250,000 incentives for community members to shop local. We are doing our part to support our local businesses. Encouraging new businesses to open in Daly City is part of our economic development strategy, and there have been promising developments over the last year. We have 4 cannabis businesses to operate in Daly City that, once operational, will generate much needed tax revenue to help pay for our vital government services. We also welcome 2 new drive-through restaurants at Ceremony, Chick-fil-A, and Starbucks, which opened at the end of last year. And Carvana, a vending machine style tower for car sales, is almost complete and can be seen from the 280. I'm excited to welcome more businesses to our city this year. Our city needs a strong business community to help provide the tax revenue that funds many of our public services. The past 2 years have been tough on our city budget, as our major tax revenue sources all took hits. Now our financial forecast shows our city budget closing with deficits every year over the next decade. Governments everywhere are facing financial challenges, and it's no surprise given the effects of the pandemic. As the city considers a variety of strategies to reduce this deficit, I want you to know our government, management, and financial team are strong and determined. Our finance department was awarded the Certificate of Achievement in Excellence for our financial reporting for the 34th consecutive year. We will continue to focus on economic growth as we move forward. Just last month, we conducted our first round of developer interviews for a city-owned site at 1837 Unipero Serra Boulevard. I'm excited to keep you updated as we move forward towards choosing the finalists. Just as we are welcoming new businesses, Daly City is also taking meaningful steps to create an inclusive and welcoming community for our people. Supreme Court Justice Sonia Sotomayor said, "You discover what your strength you can draw from your community in this world from which it stands apart. We look outward as well as inward, build bridges instead of walls." Our city did not let the pandemic divide us, but we stood together by participating in the United Against Hate Week last year when we distributed our branded United Against Hate posters to businesses and residents to promote the campaign virtually. We raised the Pride flag at City Hall for the second year in our history and the first time raising the Progress Pride flag. We once again celebrated Philippine Independence Day with a flag-raising event. Our city also continued to host a variety of virtual culture programs that made it accessible to everyone during the pandemic. For example, in February, we scheduled virtual demonstrations and performances to celebrate the Lunar New Year. We are also working hard to create spaces for dialogue in Daly City to address the issues of hate, racism, and xenophobia. Last year, we launched a new diversity, equity, and inclusion training for all elected and appointed officials. This training is our first step to educating our prominent leaders, including the City Council and Board, Commission, and committee members. This summer, I will be launching a new effort around diversity, equity, accessibility, and inclusion to align our city services around a roadmap for DEAI. Outside of being your mayor, I'm also an ethnic studies professor and nonprofit leader. I know from practice that DEAI is essential to healing our community, and your government is prepared to lead by example. I hope you will join our community conversations around this topic, and I'll be sure to keep you informed on how to participate. I also want to highlight that we are also focused on the needs of our older adult population. 17% of Daly City residents are over the age of 65, and is the most rapidly growing age demographic in our city. Many of our seniors experienced both food insecurity and isolation during the pandemic, many for their first time in their lives. As one of the World Health Organization's official age-friendly cities, our Daly City Age-Friendly Task Force has led our efforts to keep older adults connected to each other and to our city services. We launched a technology lending program with a training component to reach older adults most impacted by isolation, a new senior resource line, telehealth checks, and much more. And we have relied on a coalition of partners to offer these services like the Institute on Aging, Peninsula Family Service, and two local colleges of nursing, among others. In 2022, we will continue to work with over 200 older adult volunteers to keep our momentum going. And I'm happy to report that your City Council has allocated Measure Q funding to expand the active adult and senior services division. And just this year, Measure Q allowed for the restoration of library hours at the John Daly and Bayshore branches, which will help engage both older adults and kids alike. We are putting our dollars where they matter the most. With our libraries open for in-person services, we saw visits on the steady climb, reaching 70,000 in the past year. And the libraries continue to provide virtual programs, especially for children and families. More than 4,300 people attended over 200 programs, and almost 2,000 more people watched those programs at later times online. Our public libraries continue to be a welcoming place for all in our community. I also want to acknowledge the work of an important partner, the Daly City Public Libraries Associates. Last year, DCPLA announced Daly City's and San Mateo County's first ever Youth Poet Laureate, Madeline Herr. Madeline, thank you for sharing your original poetry during city events and for being an inspiration to our community. The arts has played an important role towards expression and healing. Our own Arts and Culture Commission has offered virtual art dialogues throughout the entire pandemic, often discussing the role of art and healing. Art can break down boundaries between people, increase our understanding of each other, and play an important role in creating a sense of community. I'm excited for the rollout of the Arts and Cultures Commission's first mural project later this year. As we focus on building community, we have taken a hard look at how our city provides emergency services and have encouraged community input to chart a new path forward for Daly City. We know that our community strongly values emergency response services and being prepared for future emergencies. And across the nation, we have also seen incredible social movements that I've been proud to be part of. I'd like to highlight some of our large endeavors to make Daly City safer for everyone. First, Daly City is one of 4 cities in the county to create the Community Wellness and Crisis Response Team, which is an innovative mental health clinician program. We are partnered with San Mateo County Behavioral Health and Recovery Services, the nonprofit Star Vista, and Stanford University's John W. Gardner Center for Youth and Their Communities. We have welcomed a mental health clinician to our police department. She brings more than 2 decades of experience in the field, is a licensed clinical social worker, and will help de-escalate emergency 911 calls and provide specialized mental health services for individuals in crisis. I'm proud of our city for taking this step. The city is also committed to transparency and committed community-driven law enforcement policies. Last year, we allocated Measure Q funding for the new body-worn camera program. Since October, all Daly City police officers are now equipped with body-worn cameras. I also want to highlight the work of North County Fire Authority, which not only responds to medical emergencies in Daly City, over half of which are for seniors, but also plays an important role throughout the state. Last year, we deployed fire companies and chief officers to multiple major wildfires. And with the changes in our fire season, North County Fire has been instrumental in educating our community about wildfire awareness and preparedness. Last year, we achieved 100% compliance with our vegetation management program to reduce fire risk on properties throughout the city. North County Fire also offers a variety of educational programs and emergency preparedness, hands-on CPR, first extinguisher training, fall prevention, and more. We are also making changes to the built environment to encourage safer behavior. To that end, we are taking safety on our streets seriously. This year, we are launching Daly City's Vision Zero program to reduce traffic and pedestrian fatalities to zero. I hope you will join us to learn more about how you can play a part in Vision Zero. We are making safety and ADA improvements to our sidewalks, crosswalks, and bicycle routes. Almost $3.5 million in grant funding is supporting this project. And this year, we will launch the Mission Street Streetscape program with an additional $1.2 million in grant funds for traffic calming along Mission Street in Top of the Hill. We are actively transforming the infrastructure of our city every year. Our community resilience is also related to the quality of life, from access to parks to securing affordable housing and protecting the most vulnerable. Let's start with our park system. Our city is continually leveraging grant funding to improve our parks. Last July, we welcomed our community to the grand reopening of Gellert Park, showcasing $2 million in renovated park amenities, including basketball and tennis court, a new playground, a new barbecue shelter area, and accessible restroom and electric vehicle parking. And we upgraded the basketball courts at Lincoln Park, as well as Palisades Park, and the tennis courts at Hillside Park, among so many other park improvements. Upcoming projects include the Margate Park Improvement Project to create a long-awaited skate park with a $4 million grant from Assemblymember Ting, and the Polaris Park Rehabilitation Project. Now, our in-person programs and events are returning, like aquatics, a variety of art and athletic classes, and camps, game nights, and much more. We have opportunities for all ages through our recreation division. Housing security is another quality of life issue affecting all cities in California. And in Daly City, we are committed to creating more affordable housing. Daly City will be home to the largest affordable housing development on the peninsula, with the construction underway at Midway Village in the Bayshore. It will offer 555 affordable units. Habitat for Humanity's Geneva project is nearing completion, with 6 new townhomes for sale to low-income households. And the city has entered into agreement with Bridge Housing to create 250 homes for low-income households at a city-owned site next to the Cow Palace. There is a lot of affordable housing happening in the Bayshore. Over the next 5 years, the city will receive $3 million to develop more affordable housing. We also received over $500,000 to develop regulations to increase our housing supply, which will be important as we update our housing element in the upcoming year. I'm also excited to welcome the faculty and staff housing projects of our local school districts. The Jefferson Union High School District's 122-unit apartment building with 12 affordable units is just under construction right now and is expected to be completed this year. We are also approved the Jefferson Elementary District's all-electric project with 56 apartments, including 6 affordable units, with many additional amenities, including over 70,000 feet of open space. The city is proud to support these innovative school district projects. I hope more of our teachers will be able to live and work in Daly City. At the start of this year, City Council also gave preliminary approval to the Jefferson Union High School District's plan to build an additional 1,235 units of affordable and market rate rentals at their campus at Ceremony Del Rey, with retail, open space, and a Head Start childcare facility. This project will create a new, walkable, bikeable, and family-friendly residential neighborhood and has been years in the making. This summer, JUHSD will come back to Council for approval of their precise plan to move forward with construction. We are in the process of continually reimagining Daly City and building for a sustainable future. Sustainability has become one of the major themes of our work, and it is embedded in all our decision-making. As a member of Peninsula Clean Energy Board of Directors, I want to highlight our green energy supply has transformed our commitment to climate change. Last year, 97% of Daly City electricity customers used green electricity from wind, solar, and hydro resources. And our residents saved 1.31 million on their electricity bills and reduced greenhouse gas emissions from electricity by 96% compared to 2016. Also last year, the City Council adopted REACH codes that will now require new construction to be all electric, using our green electricity supply without the use of natural gas. We are also preparing to invest over 120 million in the Vista Grande Drainage Basin Improvement Project, the largest public works project in Daly City's history. Permits has been secured from 5 agencies and project funding has been negotiated with 6 partners. This important project will improve stormwater drainage, provide a water source to Lake Merced, and protect the environment. It will also replenish our groundwater supply, which we have come to rely on more during the extended drought. Since last July, the Department of Water and Wastewater Resources has been producing 2 million gallons of groundwater per day, and your City Council allocated 2 million in the American Rescue Plan Act funds to develop a new potable drinking water well. We also rehabilitated 2 potable drinking water wells and improved an agreement to update a drinking water pump station. We are focused on making our water supply sustainable over the long term as we face more drought conditions. We are even expanding the production of recycled water to produce an additional 1 to 2 million gallons per day. And finally, we are aggressively tackling the pervasive problems of plastic pollution, littering, and illegal dumping, and are leading the nation and world in new policies. Last year, the city adopted the Disposable Foodware Ordinance to eliminate the unnecessary use of single-use plastics and require the use of natural fiber-based products, and recently amended the ordinance to align with the new state legislation strengthening efforts to fight against plastic pollution. This is a game-changing law that will dramatically reduce the amount of plastic pollution entering our environment and waterways. And we have continued our Clean Daly City initiative to combat illegal dumping and litter. The city is focusing on the first 2 phases of the program, education and engagement. More than 75 community members have signed up to become clean champions, and the city has hosted a variety of cleanups and beautification projects with more opportunities to participate this year. I hope that you will join us for volunteer events, host a cleanup of your own, or attend 2 of the largest events on Earth Day and Make a Difference Day. Community participation is one of the aspects of life in Daly City that makes me proud to live here. So in conclusion, Daly City is known for being Fogtown, USA. It has its bumps and challenges in road, but when the sunlight and blue skies penetrate the fog, it becomes a spectacular sight to see. Daly City has battled many obstacles during this pandemic, and we could see hope beaming through this haze. Daly City is in the process of emerging out of this period towards healing and recovery. Former First Lady and author Michelle Obama said, "For me, becoming isn't about arriving somewhere or achieving a certain aim. I see it instead as forward motion, a means of evolving, a way to reach continuously towards a better self. That journey doesn't end." Our community is in the process of becoming. We showed our resilience, our courage, and our imagination to foster a community of solidarity, support, and security. It's through the beacon of optimism that is highlighted through our partnerships with community members, nonprofit organizations, businesses, and other government agencies that has helped cultivate a caring, strong, and resilient network to support our city through tough times. Millions of dollars have been dedicated to spur our recovery, support vulnerable community members, and make improvements to our built environment. I'm inspired by our collective efforts, and we have worked together on difficult issues towards positive change. Through the strength of our collective efforts, we will persevere. I'm confident that our city will continue to embrace the values and principles of diversity, equity, accessibility, and inclusion, which are so important to our community. We will continue to make meaningful change in city services and programs. I'm confident that this busy upcoming year of development, from housing to new businesses to infrastructure improvements, will improve the quality of life in Daly City. And I'm hopeful that as we emerge from this pandemic, we provide each other with a sense of grace and dignity as we navigate new terrains and possibilities as we learn and grow together. Thank you for joining me tonight for the State of the City address. Good night and have a good rest of 2022. Thank you.